And we're live. All right. And I got a notification of my own live. Look at that. That's dope. So if you're a subscriber of this YouTube live, I really appreciate you and your presence of joining me today. So I will also be on Anchor. Okay. So if you're not much of a YouTuber, you can also catch me on Anchor. All right. And if you can, drop a comment, a like, or anything to let me know where you at, where you're from, what's your card. And thank you for being here today. The reason I do these YouTube live is because I will be transitioning from Instagram just a small bit on certain things. Okay. And I will also be having just previews up on YouTube as well. A lot of my content will be exclusive, okay, and it will be on Patreon. All right. So in this particular video, you're going to be able to go to www.patreon/let's talk. All right, my Patreon is going to be www.patreon.com, and I'm gonna change the slash actually to Cardology. Okay, so through my Patreon, what you're gonna be able to do is get exclusive content. Okay, by request, any content that you want will be exclusively on Patreon if you do request it. All right, a lot of people are in my inbox asking me questions about certain things, and you will be able to go on Patreon. All right, so today is the Jack of Hearts today. Today is Leo. Let's look at some astrology for today, okay, before I get started. And the astrology website that I use, I always want to make this easy for everybody as well. The easiest way to learn astrology or to even look at astrology is going to be on AstroSeek for me. There's a lot of different websites, but AstroSeek for me has been the easiest in explanation and delineation of certain planets and things that's going on. And what I will also do as well tonight is go through a podcast that I listened to. I took some notes on. The only person that I know that has gave me a reading and got my birth done. And let me make sure I'll update everybody on Anchor. I am on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com, okay, and make sure you become a subscriber to my YouTube. And Cardology Life Coach is going to be the new YouTube. I want to thank Anchor for allowing me to set up a podcast, and it also being discussed on Apple as well. So if you have not heard my Anchor or my podcast, you can most definitely check it out on Apple. So Cardology Life Coach channel is the YouTube Anchor people. All right, so I appreciate everyone there. All right. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be the Jack of Hearts. All right, today is a Jack of Hearts day. Today is the start of the Leo season. I ain't gonna say the start, but we're getting right into the Leo season. Planetary alignments today. Moon is in Sagittarius, so you Sagittarius are out and about communicating, maybe having communion or gathership with other women, especially with Mercury and Cancer. So conversations about moving the home, conversations about higher education, or maybe expanding yourself, or there could be conversations about, and the Mercury is in which house? The fourth house. So yeah, dealing with your parents, your education, some maybe certain circumstances that you're in right now concerning your home, or certain relationships or arguments. With the Mercury is also squaring Mars there. So that aspect gives a lot of impatience or quarrels maybe within the home as well. There may be a difference in opinion about your lifestyles, or a difference in opinions about emotional ties, or things that about your ancestry, or conversations about your past and your future. And okay, like I said, Moon, Mercury. Um, that is today's astrological summary. The sun is in Leo in the 5th house. Okay, so there's a lot of creative projects that should be going on, a lot of conversations as well, especially with Mercury in the 4th, in the home, in the 5th house. So conversations at home, conversations about projects that you have coming going on at this moment. Conversations about new ideas, things that's going to transform you or take you to new places. Okay. The sun square Uranus. Okay. So those conversations that you're having, there may be somewhat selfish, or certain aspects that, like I said, that you or your mentors or people or teachers are looking to look at different trains of thought, looking how to expand your consciousness, and there may be a stint of exhaustion. You may feel a little tired. Okay, but with that in the Jack of Hearts, okay, talking about matters of the home, expanding, healing, talking about matters of um, certain endings of ways, transcending your train of thought and looking at things a little different. Because one thing about the Jack of Hearts, whenever you do not look at things different, or you get to a time period where you're stuck into a certain way of doing things, you yourself are going to feel frustrated. You're not going to understand what's going on in the flow of things. Today should be a natural flow. Okay, the conversations should be natural. There shouldn't be too many things, or conversations that should get you out of your comfort zone. With the Jack of Hearts, a lot of people making pressure buttons. May be able to get under your skin if you're not understanding that the conversations are necessary. Certain things are necessary to happen for you to transcend into a different state of consciousness. The Jack is the 11, the inevitable. Okay, so whenever you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 stands for the inevitable that's going to happen, that you may have seen happen or coming, or it may have been foreshadowed. But the foreshadowing of the events didn't take place exactly how you thought it was, or you had no control over it. So it was an inevitable event for good or bad. All right, so let me get into the deeper part of the Jack of Hearts. I took a lot of notes today. Okay, so let me see. First, let me go into the Jacks. That's what a Jack is. In Cardology, if you're new or you haven't seen Cardology before, okay, you have your suits, your royal line, your king, queens, jacks, and 10 of clubs is a part of that royalty. The 8 of diamonds is part of that royal sun line as well. So there's different cards that may not be numerically royal, but based on the position and the setting, they are part of that royal line. I consider that the 10 of diamonds as well. It's Jupiter, very protected. The 2 of diamonds have a sense of royalty, or within that atmosphere. The 9 of clubs most definitely is the transformation for the king of spades. So a lot of cards also have transformation. So therefore, you yourself may find yourself in the mix of royalty in that sense as well. So the 11 is the manipulator. Okay, so you have your that I just get cayenne pepper in my eye on Instagram Live. This has to be a first on YouTube. And I am recording on Anchor as well. If they don't know, that was an inevitable event. Oh, that was probably bound to happen. Just a second. And that worked out better too because I had to take off my noodles, cooking some chickpea noodles. So your jack is the 11. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 is the jack. Your 12 is your queen. And that makes sense as well with the 12s being queens. 1, 2, 2 and the 3, 3. And sometimes looked at as being emotional or an emotional type of number related to women as well. And so your jack, so you're going through your environment as the jack, as a person that has complete control and power, has the ability to make decisions for good or evil. Okay, so you're sitting in that position where it's you and you're conscious, and you're kind of talking to yourself, not kind of like the 10. The last time I was talking about the 1 and the 0, just you and God. So the 1 and the 1 is like you and yourself talking to each other, the good and the evil, and you're looking at the world, trying to make a decision on what to do and where to go. And that can leave you in a position or state of mind of immaturity if you haven't developed insight to make certain decisions. In order to make certain decisions, a lot of people must go through initiation. So by ways of initiation always helps a jack out. Okay, so on the low side, when someone doesn't understand that, they may be they can become manipulative, because they see the power that they have to make decisions. They see the capabilities to look at both sides of the field and look at everyone else as if they're ignorant, or in the sense of they're not fully cognitive of the decisions or the paths that can be split into two to go down this road or that road, and they see themselves as the one that's telling someone to go down this path. So that is the jack. The jack is the truth teller. The jack is the initiate. And that kind of makes sense that the jack is sitting there, guiding you to go down this path or that path. In my mind, the way that I see it. So jacks are always associated with ways of truth telling, directing people, expressing yourself, on journalism. The jacks are here to work for other people outside the original settings of your birthplace. So you're a traveler, a wanderer, a socialite. Jacks are definitely definite socialites. Like I said, that go out in the world, that has that path going here or there and guiding people through those paths of life. So definite explorers. A lot of times, what may hinder a jack is their youthfulness. Okay, so them being so youthful may put them in a position where they are not taking responsibility of the power that they have and using it for good, or ultimate good. So whenever you're looking at jacks, the one, and other forms of, I guess you can say, mathematics, or within the Kabbalah, it stands for the Aleph, the one, the jack. Okay, the 11 is the card of the magician. Okay, the light bearer, the Aleph, which is representation of air. Okay, so whenever you're looking at the Kabbalah or Kabbalicism, or the meaning of numbers and the metaphysical property of numbers, within the original setting or form, the Aleph is a Hebrewic, or I guess you say, numbering system, or not just numbering system of mathematics. So that is the breath of life, the representation of air. Okay, so whenever I'm looking at the jack, I'm looking at your throat chakra. All right, so that is me telling the truth, talking to you. A lot of Uranus characteristics comes with your jack. Okay, and that is proof right there at that moment. Okay, a lot of jacks, because of that, may be neutral in some type of sense. So as far as gender wise, it may come with a neutral type of setting. Okay, And whenever you look at the breath of life, it is unjudgmental as far as who is telling you the truth or who's giving that message. It's kind of a neutral type of setting that you shall get without passing judgment. Okay, so the Jack is always the usher of the court. Okay, always out there guiding people or telling people what to do. And the usher of the court comes from the Alif characteristics as well. The Alif, or the air, the breath of life, is the usher of the courts. Okay, you have the power of free will, and life is based on your actions. Okay, and your response to what's given. Like I said, and that response of life, the breath of life, that response in that moment of taking place at that divine time gives you the ability to make choices and decisions that you become the gesture. So that is the Jack just in general, and they ultimately become teachers. Okay, so the Jack becomes that person that goes out and teaches everybody what to do and how to do it. Um, and let me get into specific about the Jack of Hearts. That is today's card. I'm gonna go through the life path of the Jack of Hearts. All right. A lot of times the Jack of Hearts go through training. Okay, like I said, the Jack is the initiate. So whenever you're looking at a Jack, they are being initiated into some type of setting or through a way of life, and that initiation comes through the physical presence of life, through the physical experience of life. So there's no um, escape from that physical matter, from that physical present, from experiencing um, the being the student of life. Okay, because the only way to understand life and the breath of life is through the experience, so you can go back and tell it to other people. So that is what the Jack. So now you add the symbology of the heart to the Jack of Hearts, and then also you have a spread. Okay, again, if you do not know what a life spread is, or if you do not know what a solar chart is, or your grand solar square. Okay, so cardology is based on squares, a solar square. All right. If you can write in the comments as well, this is a live chat, so if you have any questions, I'm talking about the Jack of Hearts currently. So you have a solar square. Okay, so on the solar square, like I said, I write all the time on this. The Jack of Hearts is here. Okay. Um, and as you can see, with the Jack of Hearts, after that comes the Nine of Clubs. Okay, the Nine of Spades, the Two of Hearts, and then you're gonna drop down. You're gonna go to the King of Hearts, the King of Spades. Okay, and the Six of Hearts, the Four of Clubs. So it goes Mercury, Nine of Clubs, Venus, Nine of Spades, Mars, Two of Hearts, Jupiter, King of Hearts, Saturn, King of Diamonds, Uranus, Six of Hearts, Neptune, Four of Clubs. And tonight in class, we talked about all those aspects, or if you remember in class, if anyone is joining me from class, leave a comment, hit the like button as well. If you can, please hit the like button. So if anyone here was in class, we was talking about the Jacks of Hearts being the peacemaker. What does that mean? What do you mean? What does that mean? Hit the like button. What does that mean? It may be a lag. I'm waiting on you to tell me what you mean. What does what mean? um, Yeah, if you remember in class, we were talking about the Jack being the peacemaker, going out and making peace with the Christ principle. It has that Six of Heart in Uranus. Osun Femi was talking about the Jack of Hearts and being the peacemaker and going out and making peace. Not the spread of cards you just read, interpret it for me. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through the Jack of Hearts spread and what makes it the Jack of Hearts as well. So that spread, what I was showing you is the life spread. Okay, so every card has a light spread. So me being a three diamonds, I have a Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Okay, so then every card has a light spread. Every day has a different spread. So yesterday was the Queen of Hearts. Um, I was talking about the Queen of Hearts on Instagram. Today is the Jack of Hearts. So the Jack of Hearts light spread is the Nine of Clubs. Okay, and Mercury, Venus is the Nine of Spades. Mars is the Two of Hearts. Jupiter, King of Hearts. Saturn, the King of Diamonds. Uranus, Six of Hearts. And Neptune, the Four of Clubs. So your Mars card, every person has a zodiac sign. So you have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune was in the sky in a specific position at the time of your birth. So in that at the time of your birth, at that specific location, at specific time, Mercury was sitting at a specific location. On the grand solar square, you have a stagnant or a stagnant set of symbols that is related to you, and then you place those symbols into where your Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and that gives you a life story of who you are and how you develop over time and your particular karmas. Okay, so that's why I'm gonna go into the karmas of the Jack of Hearts. Okay, I was just now explaining the just the Jack of Hearts in general. Okay, or just the Jack in general. All right, so each card has a symbol. So the Jack of Hearts, the Jack of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds, and the Jack of Spades. The Jack of Hearts, of course, is who we're talking about today. So that is love and sacrifice. And hey, Becca, I know I didn't even shout you out. I'm trying to treat everybody like I don't know. But the Jack of Hearts is love and sacrifice. That makes decisions. Okay, you had to save others and to help others. Okay, so you actually feel like you're sacrificing yourself, or you've been sacrificial for other people. One thing that Jack of Hearts has to do is kind of humble yourself into a sense of that it's not just about you, you know, that you are here to work for others and you are here to work around other people and be in that social atmosphere. And we was talking about the mundane and the different levels of the Jack because you have that decision. You can be good or you can be evil. Okay, so you can operate in the mundane level or you can raise yourself to a higher consciousness. Okay, that goes for all jacks, especially for the Jack of Clubs. So with the Jack of Clubs they have to be careful from those mundane atmospheres, especially their word of mouth for getting them in trouble. If you know Nipsey Hussle, you know that there may have been some particular events, so based on what he said, that actually end up to his demise or to the cause of his death, because he is a Jack. He can operate on that good and evil atmosphere, and he is ultimately ha partakes in inevitable events based on his word of mouth or based on what he said. The Jack of Diamonds is the guardian of your wealth and achievements and your birthright, and your goals within this life to accumulate wealth. So you can operate on the high side or the low side. You very much so can reach success or reach achievement, but you have to be on the good side. The spades is the path of the ultimate initiator. All jacks are initiators, but the jack of spades is the ultimate initiator. Whenever you see them, you being initiated into a physical, higher way of thinking, mental and physical, metaphysical, metaphysical, mental and physical way of thinking. So it is the initiate. Okay. The Jack of Hearts may seem the most innocent, and just because it may seem the most innocent and the most playful and the most childish in a sense, it is actually one of the most mature, because it sits at the top of the charts and Venus. So, in the sense of people and the paths that come by it, it is very stuck and it has developed a very, very adaptable way of learning and a very high understanding of what's going on from a smaller I won't say small, but from a young age. Okay. You have the nine of clubs and Mercury. Your Mercury actually represents your childhood. Your Mercury is what was going or taking place when you was younger. Okay. So with that nine of space and Mercury, there may have been a separation in education for a Jack of Hearts. There may have been effects of your education because of your family or your siblings. You may have gotten educated from travel. There may have been you may have traveled a lot or went to different schools or just met a lot of different people, and that became your education, or how you was educated was your experience and your interacting with other people and actually talking, not not so to say from your school lessons or sitting down and writing things out. It was from your experience, you taking in certain things by way of word of mouth, being a jack. So whenever you're looking at a Jack of Hearts or you're raising a Jack of Hearts, their early childhood education is most important, because that's going to be the base and foundation of how they learn and how they develop over time. And it may be a struggle for them. Nines, you have the nine of clubs and then you have the nine of spades. Okay. So whenever you have those nines, it can feel like a death for certain things. Whenever you have a nine, the nine of spades, uh, is considered a death card. The nine of clubs is considered somewhat of a scary death card, or a scary truth that you may not want to know, or you feel like you're getting cut off in some type of way. Okay. And with the six of diamonds supporting that nine of clubs, the values that one holds are most important. Okay. And it's actually the six of diamonds is six Jupiter. So that information, that knowledge given to that nine of clubs um, can make the Jack of Hearts be set on a stubborn path based on their life experience as a child. Okay. What's what's holding it back is the Queen of Hearts. So there may have been issues with emotions, okay, getting over your childhood or looking at your childhood as it wasn't a sacrifice, because your childhood education may have felt like a sacrifice ultimately for other people. So along this path, you're going through a path of understanding sacrifice at an early age. You're understanding values at an early age. That's going to put you on the path of education for better or worse. But you have to really work with your mental, Jack of Hearts. You really have to look at life as it wasn't a sacrifice. That's always a key note for you, is looking at life like it wasn't sacrifice, because there's no such thing as a sacrifice. I would say, as always, it happened the way it was supposed to happen in order for something else to happen, the cause and reaction. So if you want to call it a sacrifice, you can. But what did you lose? You didn't lose anything that wasn't as valuable as what you got. So whenever you're looking at metaphysics, try to watch certain words that I may say. So because words create a certain emotion, and the feeling of sacrifice is one that the Jack of Hearts always has to work on. Okay. So forgiveness and love, gathering of others to find yourself. So a lot of times, maybe a Jack of Hearts or a Jack, within that socialization or that gathering of events and gathering of people, you sure to find yourself, and within finding yourself, that education is being sparked and you're tapping into educating yourself. So putting a Jack of Hearts in a crowd, or maybe in a social setting or gathering of some sorts, it could help a Jack of Hearts or a young Jack of Hearts to develop over time. Like I said, the education comes from the way of mouth, the way of speaking, that nine of clubs, in the setting of the Jack of Hearts. Mercury makes a lot of sense. Okay, that is the perfect position for a Jack. And if you look at the Jack of Clubs, it has the nine of diamonds in its Mercury card. Then you have the eight of clubs in the position of the Jack of Spades. So you're seeing the clubs, you're seeing two clubs with two jacks so far. And with the Jack of Clubs, you're seeing the diamonds. So we're looking at a pattern here. And then for the Jack of Diamonds, you have the Four of Hearts where there's no 9 in the path of the Jack of Diamonds, but it has some 6s, which is still giving it's still giving it the focus and the capabilities of narrowing in and learning certain things. Whenever you see a 6, I see tunnel vision. That's a lot of focus, a lot of learning with those 6s. But let me get back to the Jack of Hearts. We'll look at the Jack of Diamonds and all those a little later. Another video, another time. So what makes the Jack of Hearts on that setting of forgiveness and love? Okay, one of the biggest factors of that is that 6 of Hearts in Uranus. So whenever you're looking at Uranus, that is the number 11 as well. So that is Aquarian. The Jacks are Aquarians. So whenever you're looking at the Aquarius or Uranus, whenever you're looking at people, Uranus, you're looking at the humanitarian going out into the world to explore. Whenever you're looking at Uranus, you're also looking at kind of law and order. I know Uranus comes after Capricorn, so you got to look at the zodiac sign and see how it builds on each other. Whenever you're looking at Capricorn, you're looking at politics, or you may looking at your job, or you may looking at social status. So whenever you're looking at the Aquarian, they're engineering a new social status, a new law and order, a new atmosphere, a new job setting, or a new type of scenery that is being established within that realm. Real estate, an establishment, or breaking of grounds for Uranus. So what a 6 of Hearts wants to do is the peacemaker. It wants to bring everybody in, bring everybody within the social setting, and it actually wants to help out everyone. Okay, so the Jack of Hearts has the 6 of Hearts in Uranus, which makes it the peacemaker. Okay, and like I said, I want to go in order. So we were talking about Mercury, but I was talking about the Jack being the social groups. So whenever you put in a young Jack of Hearts within those social groups, putting them in a large crowd, or giving them that wisdom and adaptability isn't a bad idea, because you're grooming them for their future. Okay, so for the Jack, ultimately you're going to become a teacher, okay, by way of experience, which is not easy to be preaching peace and love in this particular world. Look where we are now. There's a lot of racial issues and things that's taking place that may leave a Jack of Hearts feeling, like I said, like there was a sacrifice, going to matters and places, feeling like you are the person to bring everyone together. It's the experience of the Jack of Hearts, which is not easy. Like I said, Jacks are here to experience. They are the person that's going to go out into matters and experience it physically. Okay, so a Jack has to go through life making sure they follow through. Okay, even though they may feel like a martyr, you do have to follow through your goals, your ambitions, and things that take place. And your Mars is the follow through. Okay, so whenever you do not follow through, it may feel like a death or ending of certain things. Your Mars is the 9 of spades with the 6 of spades. So the follow through is inevitable. Okay, so the 6 of spades is destiny. That's your supporting karma for your 9 of spades, and your 9 of spades is in Mars. So you must follow through the things that you say you want to go through. All right, through the ages of 18 to 36, a Jack must commit themselves to the things that they're going to do in life. Okay, you must follow through. That Mars period for you, your Mars period, let me go through your Mars period. So every 13 years or so, you have different periods of your life, or different stages of your life, or you can break it down to your 7. Okay, so Mercury, Venus, Mars. So your 13, your first 13, your Mercury, Venus, 13 is the next 13, 36, 39. Okay, so between the ages of 18 to 36 is where you should be feeling like you're being groomed, okay? Like you're under the kings of the court and you're going through life and you're being constructed with this knowledge, that this particular knowledge and this work that you're doing is ultimately going to be the carrier for you in the later part of your life, because ultimately you have the 4 clubs from Neptune, so that's where we're going to gravitate to. The clairvoyance is going to come through the ages of the 18 to 36 is where you're going to be dedicated to your life. It's going to be very focused. You're going to start breaking ground on your life and finding self-awareness early in life. And especially, like I said, putting a jack out into the world and letting them explore and experience people around them is healthy. Okay. So 18 to 36, there's a dedication to one's life and the growth and development that you have. Making sure that you suppress the ego and you work for others. So that should be a time where you're working for other people. Space, like I said, always deals with work. The 6 of space deals with destiny. So you are working through your destiny. You're being educated and you're going through levels. 9 always signifies graduations or endings of some sort. So the 9 of clubs actually needs a graduation. So a jack of clubs, a jack of hearts needs to graduate as a child. Someone has to be on their back, making sure they go through life graduating, because the next graduation of life for them is the 9 of spades, and they're going to be inclined and very dedicated to their work early on in life, or they should find dedication to their work early on in life. And there's a Queen of Hearts there as well. That's the challenge. So controlling one's emotions, okay, is very important, okay, in order for you to graduate or to grow in life and find that understanding of your life path. And that 9 of spades is an esoteric number as well. So there may be initiation that takes place during that particular time of being groomed into the esoteric world or fields of study, as far as science, math, or any field of the body, or healing matters may be of much importance, or finding understanding, or universal understanding. So universal matters are also very, very important keys and places a jack of hearts should find. Probably should find people that are studying astrology, that are studying medicine, that are studying certain things in the forms of healing and social gathering or networking. So a jack of hearts, like I said, is a mature card because it goes through life early, gaining wisdom early on in life. In the first 13 to 26 years of its life, is gaining a lot of wisdom in life. So, and after that, is going to find friends and people. The 2 of Hearts is in Mars. So they're ultimately going to find people and socialize with people or small groups of people. There's going to be a lot of conversations, okay? And those conversations are going to open up paths of healing from the traumatic things that may have happened in their early childhood. Like I said, their childhood education could get cut off. There are certain endings that take places with the 9. So Mercury, Venus, there may be certain endings in love and relationships that could leave them scarred if they don't find understanding. And those relationships with the 2 of Hearts and Mars could leave a scar. Okay. So with the 2 of Hearts and Mars, there may be a scar or regret that happens for a Jack of Hearts that may leave them scarred, or they may have to learn to deal with certain people and social groups early on in life. And the 2 of Hearts is a millionaire's card as well, or rich friends, or you may find yourself in wealthy associations with people. So whenever you're going through those ages of 18 to 38, 36, ultimately that you're going to find yourself on royalty in a sense, or wealthy people overall. All right. So these paths of initiation, you may find yourself in journalism, forms of truth telling. Like I said, working with other people, being in social settings, a socialite, being initiated, and then training for mental um, jobs, or putting yourself in a position where you actually have to study and grow at a young age. So the Jack of Hearts is very mature, like as I was saying, and you kind of see why, because like I said, nines are universal, always universal standards understanding. So you have a nine of clubs and a nine of spades. So that universal understanding, being able to bring people together into these social settings, to coach someone through any matters of love or relationships, or those topics may come up within in Mars. So, Jack of Hearts should actually learn to never hold regret, to let things go, just let people be people. Ultimately, a Jack of Hearts is going to become a performer, or has the ability to become a performer if they want to, but ultimately they may may want to be in the background. Okay, um, just at an early age, they have to learn not to become an escapist. Okay, to try to escape um, the responsibility that they see they have. Okay, like I said, their early life becomes one where they are being coached. Okay, on matters of the heart. Okay, with the two of hearts and Mars. So having those conversations and opening up, and with the King of Hearts and Jupiter, that will actually put someone in a very, very good position where they have learned certain things, they have grown, become educated, and now they are the person that's spreading the wisdom, or have gained so much wisdom where they are becoming the controllers of emotional matters. So you have the King of Hearts and Jupiter. You're very protected in the matters of being held at a high standard. Okay, so a Jack of Hearts may be held at a high standard ultimately. Um, whenever they see themselves or go into social settings, someone may can look at them and say they are the one that know everything, or they are the one who's going to help me out to get to where I need to be, because they have educated themselves, or they have grown in that field of education, and they look like they have develop a thought process that can help me get over my traumatic ways and things that have brought me trauma in my life, and cause me healing or give me healing. So the Jupiter position is a position that's protected. So if you have the King of Hearts there, and that particular aspect is protected, you should very much feel like nothing can get to you. Nothing can penetrate your heart. Nothing can take you down at that particular point. So Jack of Hearts should feel very protected, should be very selfless and forgiving, because there's nothing that can really cut you unless it's yourself. One thing about the King of Hearts is the Leo aspect of a King of Hearts, or a king, the ego. So either, if you ever looked at was it Alice Wonderland, or whoever that show is, you have the lion, and then you have the lion represents that ego. So if you look at the lion or the Leo, they can have confidence, or they just don't got no confidence. That Leo is a very depressed Leo, one that doesn't have any courage, doesn't have any confidence, isn't going to be able to go out in the world and attack it exactly how it should be attacked. So a Jack of Hearts has to boss up. It has to be courageous in the fields of um, education, in the fields of um, wisdom, knowledge, um, protection of, like I said, the matters of the heart. So nothing should scar a Jack of Hearts. You're very protected in that realm, and nothing can really go against you. Okay, you have ultimate control. You must step up to the position and become a boss. And because you have to do things yourself. A king does things the way that they want to be done. and it knows how to do it, and it knows how to tell other people to do it. So you must boss up. You must find that courage to show the wisdom that you have incurred over that time period, because you do know what to do. You do have that wisdom to point people in the direction that they need to go. So a Jack of Hearts is a boss. Is someone that you can go to find financial or educational support, because they've been there, seen that, done that, and probably did it themselves, and the experience led them that way. Okay. So in that sense, a King of Hearts, a Jack of Hearts should never hold grudges. It should find great understanding that life is the way it is, and you have to deal with it, and you have to be the center of authority. Okay. The Jack of Hearts must step into the spotlight of a leader. A King of Hearts is a leader. So if you have the King of Hearts in Jupiter, you are very much so being pushed to leadership. You're being pushed to gain wisdom and knowledge from the highest courts, from the master teacher. So ultimately, you're going to find someone that's going to be able to help you master these particular aspects of yourself. You are the center of the authority, or your throat chakra. So what you say goes. Okay. So the Jack end up probably being the performer, or someone that being the promoter that's going out telling everybody what to do. All right. And I did not even go on for my notes. I actually had notes with this as well, but we're going to keep on going. So success from your own efforts, from the Jupiter and the King of Hearts. All right. So everything that you do is based on your passion and what you put towards it, your education, on your wisdom, anything that you do related to your success is based on your own efforts for that Jack of Hearts. Let me go back to that Mars and that Two of Hearts, because that can be desires as well. So with that Two of Hearts pushing the King of Hearts, whatever you desire, it shows it so shall be, almost. Okay. So those social aspects, those social hemispheres, you ultimately push yourself into that position and gain that wisdom, and seeing the people, or seeing what it took. Like I said, you've been in this world and you experienced it from an early age. So you know exactly what needs to be done and what needs to be said for the embetterment of all. All right. So the King of Diamonds and Saturn. So you may reach wealth through like I said, through your own efforts once again. Okay. So you reach the education and controlling of the matters of the hearts from your own efforts. So again, you are in Saturn with the King of Diamonds. So your education, your social status, your work environment, you are a boss. You create your environment that's around you. You are the director of the environment around you. What you say goes, in the sense of, you created this empire where you at now based on your experience, based on the people that you know. You created your heaven. You created your workforce and your work environment. All right. Your father or someone that may have been in your life may have pushed you into these fields. They may have pushed you in the field of medicine, or they may have pushed you in the field of healing. Okay. You may have had a stern or strict father who pushed you to make you feel like you need healing in certain things or certain matters. To have a King of Diamonds father is could be tough, in the sense of, I wouldn't say a King of Diamonds is selfish, but they much so could be looked at as selfish. It has and actually that makes a lot of sense, because the King of Diamonds transformation card is the Ace of Diamonds. So most definitely being seen as selfish, but ultimately pushing you to be an entrepreneur as well, because the Ace of Diamonds is a new avenue or a new way of doing or thinking, a new form of money. Ace of Diamonds it sits Neptune as well. So having that vision, that foresight of, or your father may have pushed you and like, okay, I see your gifts, or I see what you can do or what you should do. So I think that you may need to go into the fields of healing, maybe. So if you do not have access to a stern father or to a stern person, like I said, we are children of the zodiac. So that may be something, or you may have that in Neptune, it may depleted that particular situation for you as well. And I know I said this in Saturn. Like I said, you have to look at Saturn could be in Neptune, so it may have been a depletion, or it could be in we're not going to go too deep into the other delineation. So your father may have pushed you into certain fields of drugs or surgery or things of that nature where you may have needed a balance, and you found that through ways of healing and entrepreneurship. And like I said, you just want to help everybody else, because after Saturn, there's Uranus, and it's the Six of Hearts. So the Six of Hearts and Uranus can be changes in the fields of how you relate to people. You may find success in the fields and matter of bringing people together, and you may see the changes that may need to be necessary to help people out to cause healing. Okay, and when I say and like I said, today is a Jack of Hearts day. All right. And if you just now joined me, or you're looking for understanding on the Jack of Hearts and what a Jack of Hearts is, I am now on Uranus for the Jack of Hearts. Okay. And let me make sure I'm going to call out the Jack of Hearts birthday as well right before, after this. Right. So the Jack of Hearts, like in Uranus, I've seen some people join. So you must force yourself to make changes, okay, that you may dislike, okay. Whenever you're looking at a six, it needs balance. All right, you're looking at tunnel vision. You're looking at someone that is very focused in the direction that they're going into. So you may not like change. So you may feel like you're very focused and you don't want to make changes, but certain changes may be necessary for your success. And that doesn't mean change your whole lifestyle. That means just changing the way you think and the way you feel about certain things that bring you peace. Okay. So that may be a certain change that you may need to make to bring you peace and success. And you can't refuse that particular change. Okay. So being open to change, being open to the change of heart, being open to being compensated in a sense for other people. All right. That is not just about you. So having a very, very open heart to change and the things that are necessary for the future. So whenever you're looking at a six, you're looking at the future. So being open to the changes that's taking place in the future, and on the matters of emotions, or what take place within the matters of society and social groups. So that is the Six of Hearts in Uranus. And this is the Jack of Hearts, things that take place, or the karmas that happen for Jack of Hearts. So there may be things that force you later on in life to look at things a little different. And within that, you gain friends, you gain foresight, you gain clairvoyance. So the Four of Clubs and Neptune is clairvoyance. So you're very much successful because the Four Parts Four of Clubs brings that sense of everything is going to be okay. It's going to work out. You're going to be fine. You wasn't sacrificed for, or you wasn't put into society to work with society for a ill cause. Everything ultimately worked out for the betterment of yourself and everybody around you. And now you're in a more comfortable environment as you get older in life. So now you're able to relax. You've gone through life very early educating yourself, and now you see everything for what it is. You went out in the world, you helped other people with that Six of Heart and Uranus to get healing for themselves. Now you reach a place where you've reached healing for yourself, and now you just want to go out and teach and tell everybody else how you got to where you was and what organized your, or how did you organize your life to reach this particular setting. Okay, so the Four of Clubs is very psychic. That is the card of Nostradamus. Okay, so you may travel out in the world, telling them things that, telling people how you got to where you were, and maybe on metaphysical things since you had that childhood education a little early in metaphysical matters. There may be um, very, very psychic Jack of Hearts that know exactly what to say and know exactly what to do at any given moment or time based on that Four of Clubs and Neptune, knowing exactly what to do or how to put the pieces of the puzzle together to reach success. You know? So that was about an hour. So I really don't want to take up too much of your time. That was just going through the life path and what makes a Jack a Jack. Okay. And if you need help or if you had any problems um, or if you have any questions, make sure you just type those into the comments now. So Leo, Jack of Hearts. Leo is about big business. Okay, the loyal Leo, the performer. Okay, the theatrical person, the promoter. But as I was saying earlier, the Jack may not want to be in the fields of theatrics. It may want to play the background of those particular matters. But being the center of authority, working with children, developing people, being a mentor, something of the Jack of Hearts, Leo, um, being productive, being in productive fields and fields of advancement or advancing other people, being in the fields of helping other people advance within their social atmosphere and bringing people together, bringing understanding to things that's happening around you and causing healing for other people is something that a Jack of Hearts should do as well. Okay, so you should be working on improving the world around you through your particular gifts of and through your knowledge that you have that you gain through at a young age. Okay, a Jack is always being tested. I see Jacks as people who are sent to this world to live in the mundane and being tested throughout their lifetime. Okay. So whenever I look at a Jack, it's a test of your emotion. Okay. It's a test of the evolution that you say you had or you say you're working on. Okay. So it is you gaining wisdom and insight over time and helping everybody else out. So very much so working with the youth and working with youth movements and showing them how they should do and control certain things and ways of life to help themselves, especially for the Jack of Hearts. In business, um, should be working with youth movements and setting them up for the future, making sure they're structured and organized, and making sure they have everything that they need in the matters of selfless love for the people that they're going to be working with. So that is my synopsis and summary on the Jack of Hearts. Okay. If you have any questions, if you liked it, hit that like button. If you need more clarity, just DM me and let me know. I do readings, so you can book me as well. And that is cardologylifecoach.com is my website. So rude, but cardologylifecoach.com is my website. If you have any questions, go on there, subscribe. You can also hit me up on my Instagram, which is the same at Cardology Life Coach. So I am very open to any questions. I want to answer all of your questions here on YouTube or any other platform that you prefer me to. I'll try to, upgrade what I'm doing to make sure that I come to you. So you don't have to go nowhere. I'll come to you. So if you have any questions, and saying that, like I said, a jack of hearts, you have to learn how to be still. Okay, everything comes to you. You don't really have to go nowhere. So it would make sense that on the Jack of Hearts day, I say, I'm coming to you. You don't have to go nowhere. I'm coming to you. So peace, be still. Thank you for being still and listening to me for a whole hour. I hope you gain something from these particular conversations. There's a lot to gain in the way that you play your cards, okay? In the way that you look at life, all right? So whenever you look at cardology, it's the karma that takes place in the way that you play your cards. So Jack of Hearts, keep telling the truth. Be that journalist, be that prime example of what a business person that practice selfless love. The Jack of Hearts, Leo, is the ultimate business person. It's the ultimate person that people probably should look and go to and see how you create deals for people, seeing how you create certain discounts and savings, because they are selfless people. They are here to practice love and to share love. So look at that Jack of Hearts, Leo, to see how you operate a business ultimately. So if you have any questions, like I said, DM me. I want to make this another hour. So my name is Rashad, Rashad, Rashad. If you have any questions, I'm just a message away. Thank you.